I appreciate y'all. You don't have to call me Sergeant Major. My first name is Eldon, but we'll get into the intro a little bit later on down the line. I would say that honestly, I am just happy to have the opportunity to connect with you. Understand this is the Warrior Battalion. Y'all are leaders, right? Everyone in here, right? Yeah, that's why we're in the class. Everyone has a different background. I'm sure some of you come from all across the world. Some are here locally. Is that right? Yeah, this is going to be a little interactive. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to give you a lot of energy, and I'm going to ask you a few questions here and there as we go along. But each of you made a decision to be right where you are right now in this time and space. That seat that you're sitting in, it's not by accident. It's by consequence. It's by consequence of the decisions that you have made over the last several years. You've earned it, right? Everybody can't be where you are right now. So you've done something to already distinguish yourself, and to tell me that you're leaders while doing it, that's the next level. Because you're not just leaders, but you're leaders of warriors, because this is the Warrior Battalion. And so I want you to participate with me today on a couple of things. One, business rules. So grown folks atmosphere. If you got to step out, you got to step out. It's fine. Don't worry about interrupting. But I'm going to ask you that if I say something that resonates with you, I want you to do this. And I want you to say, I'm here. I'm here. Everybody got it? I'm here. All right. Let me give you a little backstory to that, because I can see I want to make sure everyone's catching along. In 2005, I was stationed in Texas, and we were responding to Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina, as you guys know, the devastation in New Orleans and Louisiana, and our unit was activated. As our unit was activated, I got the call, hey, you need to come in right away so we can start preparing vehicles and start preparing resources so we can respond to those who needed assistance. And so at this point, I'm like, all right, I get on, my motorcycle. I was on a Gixxer 600. We got any motorcycle riders in here? No, crotch rocket, 2004. I thought I was doing something. I really wasn't. I thought I was, but I wasn't. But so I get on a motorcycle. It's raining pretty bad outside, right? And as it's raining, I'm like, all right, I've ridden in the rain before. It won't be a problem. And so I'm on my way into work, trying to get there. There's a vehicle in front of me. It's a gray Dodge Ram. And I remember this just like it's right now. And this gray Dodge Ram, it turns right in front of me. And before I can stop, I hit the front end of that vehicle. I remember my bike going this way, and I remember being in the air and feeling helpless at that point. I remember being in the air, not being able to do anything at that point in time. I don't remember hitting the ground, but I know I did. Boom. Because I was out. And as I laid there on that concrete, on that asphalt, I laid there and my eyes were closed, and I took a deep breath. Whew. I'm here. I opened my eyes, and I was still here. I began to move my legs a little bit. I was like, okay, if I can move my legs, then I can stand up. If I can stand up, then I can get up. If I can get up, then I can continue on with the mission that I've been charged to do, right? And so I did. I got up and I walked away from that accident. But the one thing that I want you to understand is that I was here. And so if I say something today and it resonates with you, if you can connect with it, then I'm here. If it's personal, I'm here. If it's somewhere you've been before, I'm here. Because you're doing two things. You're saying something out your mouth that is already here, right? And it comes out here, secondly. And then the third thing that happens is your behaviors support everything that was already here. Now it's coming out here through your mouth. And now your behaviors and actions are supporting everything that you believe, everything that you know that's inside of you, right? And so that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. And I know you haven't met me before. You probably have the bio. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But we'll talk about introductions here a little bit later. But as we're all leaders that are in this room, we stand in solidarity. We stand for a purpose, right? We do. We all do. Different backgrounds, same backgrounds. We stand here together as a unit. We stand here together as a team. As I walked in on this campus, I saw a memorial outside. You pass by it every day, am I right? Because there have been sacrifices that have been made so that way we can live in freedom to this day. And you are the leaders of this next generation. I'm here. And as leaders, what we understand is that in times of difficulty, no matter what's happening, in times of fear, guess what? We keep going. In times of hardship, we pick ourselves up. In times when things are just crazy and we can't fathom what the positive outcome is going to be, we keep going. We sacrifice, we give up things because we know the value, the purpose of the thing that we're doing here in life, right? I'm here. It's not by accident that you're in these seats today. So today, we're going to talk about human leadership. And we're also going to focus on the warrior ethos and the 7 Army values. It's in your folder. The only reason why I printed it out and I put it there is because sometimes we need something tangible to hold on to. So I got it. It's in your phone. It's on your computer. It's probably on your heart right now. But guess what? You also got a physical copy because I want you to take something away from today. All right? It's in the folder. We'll use it a little bit later. But as we get into leadership, I will tell you, my friends, can I call you my friends? I will tell you, my friends, that a mirror is the most important guide that you will have in your life. I want to tell you a story. There's a story about a man at an intersection. This man is at this intersection, and it's a very crowded intersection. There are no vehicles. It's just people. It's only people. You see street signs. You see street lights. It's a little foggy outside, and it's just people in a crowded road, in a crowded intersection, standing next to each other. And this gentleman, he's trying to get somewhere. He's trying to get to a destination. He's trying to get to a certain location. And as he's moving throughout the crowd of people, he bumps into somebody, says, "Excuse me, you're in my way." He does it again. "Excuse me, you're in my way." He bumps another person. "Excuse me, you're in my way." This goes on for hours. This goes on for days. This goes on for weeks. This goes on for years. And every time that he does this, someone else disappears. Until this man is at this intersection with no progress, by himself. Nobody else to blame. Because every time he made an excuse and blamed somebody else, they just disappeared. But he is still there with no progress. And I can resonate with that. You know why? Because I've been that person before. And some of you in this room, if we're being honest, you've been there before too. You've been to a place where you didn't make progress because you didn't make a decision, or you didn't make progress because you were frozen by fear. You didn't make progress because you just weren't motivated, or you didn't feel like it that day. You felt like sleeping in. You felt like, you know what, I had a hard day yesterday, so today's going to be easy. And you took it in your own hands. Some of you have been in that position before. I have been in that position before, but I will tell you that life changed for me when I stopped lying. The mirror never lied. I did. And the minute I stopped doing that, the minute I stopped looking in the mirror and stopped lying and saying, you know what, I can take it easy today, I'll still be successful. The minute I stopped doing that, I began to find success with the teams and the organizations that I was connected to. I'm talking to leaders right now. You're going to lead teams. You are leading teams. You are leading classrooms. You are leading in your field of study. You are leading on the field or in the pool or on the court. You are leading in your families. You are leading, my friends. You are leading. You are the next generation. So I will tell you, I learned something when I looked in the mirror. I couldn't blame anyone else. I had to take responsibility, because once that happened, success personally in my life, success professionally in my life, success organizationally in my life, teams, success, everyone connected to me, success, family connected to me, success, friends connected to me, success. But first, I had to start being honest with myself. So, my name is Sergeant Major L. Don White. I'm known to some as El Motivational Don. And you're probably thinking, maybe I should have started with an intro. I did not want to start with an intro, only because my name is not the most important thing that I want to leave here today. I want something to resonate with you. I want you to feel like, hey, I can transform. I have to transform. I have to improve. There is a way to do it because I'm going to give you keys today. I'm going to give you tools today. I'm going to teach you some things that have worked for me over the years. And a little bit about myself and career. I don't like doing this part, but I understand that if I'm going to have a little credibility with the leaders in this room, then I owe you background. I owe you. This is why these things have worked for me over the years, right? I owe that. You're not just going to listen to anybody. We got athletes in the room? Raise your hand. Yeah, a few, right? And we got all leaders in this room too. But I owe you background because you would expect that from anybody that stands in front of you. So I've been in the Army for 20 years. I've served within the special operations community for 15 years. I was the first geospatial engineer that served successfully within 75th Ranger Regiment, the first to earn my tab within 75th Ranger Regiment. I went on to the Joint Special Operations Command, served successfully there, and then I was the first active duty enlisted coach in all of special operations. It hadn't been done before. There was a 10-year period where I was number one on every order of merit list for promotions. I was number one or the top 5% at every professional military school that I attended. Number one on every evaluation that I've ever gotten. Every one. 4.0 GPA, my bachelor's, 4.0 GPA, my master's, you name it. And what's crazy about it is like I didn't realize those things were happening until I went back and had to write like a bio and say, hey, what are some things that you did? I didn't realize it because I wasn't focused on the promotion. I wasn't focused on any award that there could be. I wasn't focused on any recognition. I wasn't focused on any of that. I owed it to be a better version of myself every time I showed up. Every time I rolled out that bed for another day, I had a responsibility to be better. So that's a part of the reason why I did it. And I'll talk a little bit more about it. But it wasn't about any of those reasons of recognition, awards, promotions, none of that. None of that was important to me at the time. And so I'm going to ask you to participate in a little bit of an exercise with me today. Can y'all do that? So what I'm going to ask is, because we're talking about the best version, right? I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment. And if you don't want to close your eyes, just look down just for a moment. And I want you to visualize, I want you to picture yourself at your very best. What are you doing right now when you're at your best? Who's around you while you're at your best? What are they saying about you? Are you in formal wear? Do you have a sports jersey on? Are you participating in some activity? Like, what do you do? Are you in a vehicle? Are you in a room? What's happening while you're at your best? And as you're thinking about this, now you're walking. You're walking up to a theater. You get into the theater. There's stadium seating all in the theater. There's a podium set up, and you're making your way to a seat. You finally sit down amongst a crowded theater with stadium seating in it. You're seated. There's a spotlight on the podium that's on the stage. You see somebody walking up the stairs to the podium. You recognize this person. They're talking about you right now. They're talking about some of your negative traits and aspects. They're talking about some of your achievements. They're actually talking a lot about your achievements. What are they saying about you? Because you know who they are. What are they saying about you right now? Boom. You guys can look up. I want you to write that down. Capture that. Whatever they said about you, I want you to write it down. Turn over one of those sheets of paper or put it somewhere, but I want you to write it down because I will tell you, my friends, a short pencil makes a long memory. And I know that pencils are probably outdated right now. Everyone's technology based. I don't know. I still use pencils every day. Oh, who got some pencils in the room? Mathletes probably, right? Yeah? Okay. But a short pencil makes a long memory. So whatever you heard, whatever they said about you, I want you to write that down. I want you to capture that just for this moment. So earlier we were talking about, just while you're writing, you continue writing, but earlier we were talking about why I did it, why I was working as hard as I was working over the years. I can tell you that I wanted to be the best possible version of myself. And I still want that to this day, to this moment. I still want that. And the reason why is for a number of layered reasons. My ancestors that came before me, they sacrificed without resources, without the thing that I have in this very moment. And they made progress so this moment could be possible. They made progress so the moment that you're having right now could be possible. They made progress so we can do the things we're doing. So I had a debt and a responsibility to pay back because of that. To my family, to my daughter who, sorry, baby, I'm going to miss your birthday this year. To my sons, sorry, I'm going to miss your event because I'm gone this year. To my wife, sorry, I'm missing another special occasion. I had too many sorries, too many things that I had to apologize for. So I had to have something positive on the other side, something that was improving. If I'm going to spend time with another team, another group of people, and not my family, then there has to be progress. And I knew that if I just became better and better and better, then my teams could be better. My teams could be better. The organization could be better. The army could be better. The nation could be better. There would be improvement. I had a debt and a responsibility. I had a debt and a responsibility to my friends who fought alongside me, who we joked about what we're eating the next day, and the next day we didn't even get to talk about it because they didn't make it through the day because they died in combat. Or to my friends who fought internally for so long and they came back and they just couldn't shake it anymore until they said, you know what, this is it. And they decided that that was going to be the end of their own life. They couldn't live out their dreams like they wanted to, so I had a debt. I had something sitting on me that said, like, I can't show up mediocre. I can't show up and just walk in and say, you know, it's going to be an easy day. It's not going to be an easy day because I'm going to give everything I got with every breath that I have because I have a debt and a responsibility. And as you are a leader, you are responsible for the lives that you're connected to. You are responsible. Whether you think you are or you're not, you are responsible. So I had a debt. And I longed to just simply be better. I had a deep desire to continue to just improve and get better. And there's a quote by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, and I'm going to read this quote out to you because I want it to really resonate and sit with you. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Instead of teaching the task of the ship, teach them to long endlessly for the sea. Instead of teaching the task of the ship, teach them to long endlessly for the sea. It's all about creating that desire for your teams. It's all about creating that desire as a leader. Because I can tell you, like, being good at something, the technical competence, like those things, they can come. But if you teach somebody the reason why if you can teach them the why, if you can teach them the purpose part of and help them connect with that, then they're going to do the extra work themselves. They're going to do more because they want to give more, because they want the end state. And so as a leader, we owe that, and we have to do that. And we were talking about the mirror. And going back to that mirror, because part of leadership development is personal development. And that's just the portion that we're dealing with right now. So in that mirror, long to be a better version of yourself. In that mirror, long to deeply understand the why and what motivates you. In that mirror, accept honesty and accountability. In that mirror, become who God intended you to be. Chaos may be around you, my friends, but you are the leader amongst it that can help direct it. You are the leader that can help move it in a positive direction, my friends. You weren't selected to sit in pain. You weren't selected to sit in mess. You weren't selected to sit in drama. You were selected and called to action. Not everybody on this campus is where you are right now. Not everybody in this world is where you are right now. It's because you are called to action, my friends. And so I would tell you that as you're called, today is a better day than yesterday. And that's how you have to approach it. So yes, you're in the right place at the right time. This is a leadership talk. However, we talk about self-development and improvement because it's all the foundation of it. Because if you can get it right for you, then you can help people get it right for them. You believe that? It's true. And so part of that foundation that we're going to talk about today is the warrior ethos. The warrior ethos, when I think of ethos, I think of a distinctive character, right? Or belief or value of a certain group. And if we are warriors and leaders of warriors, then the ethos is what we embody. It's part of who we are. I want someone to volunteer and read me one of the ethos. Anybody, please. Yeah, go for it.
One.
Just one.
I will always place the mission first.
What does that mean to you?
So with your surroundings, whatever going on, you always put the mission first.
Okay, I like that. Somebody give me another one.
I will never accept defeat.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
To me, it means even though maybe like they might not go perfectly as planned, don't let it get to you too much. Like keep going, keep moving, go through it.
Okay. All right. What you got?
I will never quit.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
Even when things get hard, shouldn't stop and respond to come short. But
Okay. All right, we got one more. Who's got it? Anybody? Don't wait for me. Last one, last etho.
I'll never leave a fallen comrade.
Okay. What does that mean to you?
You don't get behind.
Yeah, that's right. Those are all right answers. It's your interpretation, and those are all right answers. I want to tell you a story. The reason I'm going to tell you these stories because when it comes to warrior ethos, it doesn't just start when you come to this classroom. It doesn't start when you come onto this campus. It didn't start last year. It starts early on when you start embodying certain values and beliefs. But I want to tell you a story. When I was 8 years old, I was going out to the pool with my friends, my sisters, my family. We're all out there. And it's a hot day, right? 8 years old. We're going to have a great time today. So we get out to the pool. It's crowded. Kids are all over the pool. Adults are all in the pool. We're playing on the shallow end. We're doing Marco Polo. We're doing cannonballs on the shallow end. We're diving on the shallow end, which, we're not supposed to do that, but we're having a great time, right? And I was always accustomed to interacting and playing with the older kids. They always had more fun. So the older kids, they're on the deep end. At this point, I couldn't swim, but I was like, hey, I can get close and I can still interact with them. So I start moving towards the deep end, and I get to a point where my head is above water and I'm on my tippy toes. And I'm like, all right, I'm still having a great time, everyone. All right, everyone. And then I slip. And as I slip, I went a little further into the deep end to the point where I couldn't put my head above the water anymore. I couldn't swim at the time. And so I pushed with my feet up and I got my head above water and I took a breath. And then as I'm trying to breathe, I go back under and I'm swallowing water. And as I'm swallowing water, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening right now. But this is not fun. And so at this point, I'm moving into survival. I'm only 8 years old. And I know that okay, I got one breath. So if I hit the ground again, I can push up and I can take another breath. And so I hit the ground again and I pushed up. I took a breath and I went down again. And I hit the ground again and I pushed up and I took a breath. I will never quit. I would never accept defeat. At that point in time, I didn't know what was next, but the mission to me was I needed to breathe. And so I had to get my head above water. So whatever it took, I would use everything in me to get above water. And I kept doing it. I didn't know how long I had to do it. I didn't know. I know I just had to take that breath. So I kept going. And then eventually, as I went up and I just I don't know if I can do this anymore, I took a breath. And then my mother came and snatched me out that water. I would never leave a fallen comrade. Sometimes someone else has to come get you on your team. So you want to talk about being human and being a good leader or being a good human overall? Like, you got to be good because you don't know who has to come get you. Maybe you're the one who has to go get someone else. But when it comes to the warrior ethos, it's something that lives inside of you. It's something that you just ooze out of you. It's something that is in your blood. It's something that you just believe because it's a part of you. No matter how old you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, no matter where you are today, no matter where you are tomorrow, you are a leader. And if you can embody the warrior ethos, then you can share that with those that are around you. And I'm telling you, my friends, you want to find some success, and I'm talking from experience. Special operations wasn't easy. That's the top 1% of the entire nation. That wasn't easy, and I did it for 15 years. I'm telling you something that worked, my friends. You have to embody it. You have to own it. You have to just bleed it. You have to breathe it every day. If you want success for your teams, if you want success for yourselves, I would tell you that leadership is more about leading the individual than it is anything else in living a holistic and gratifying life. Because we are more than just one dimensional, right? Like, we're emotions, we're mentally, fit, we're physically fit. Like, there are a lot of different layers to us, a lot of layers. And we have to find ways to connect. We have to find ways to build each other up. And so the 7 Army values, right? That's your game plan. That's your how-to. All right, I already lived the warrior ethos because it's a part of me. But how do I actually employ that? How do I actually lead people, organizations, teams, classrooms? Like, you can even be a leader on the side of the road if you're just responding to an accident that happened and people are standing around and nobody knows what to do. But okay, see if they're hurt, see what's going on. Somebody call the police. Okay, is the vehicle looking like it's something bad's going to happen, like it's going to catch on fire? Okay, maybe we need to get them out the vehicle. Like, no matter where you are, do you understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about leadership? The vehicle changes, but the purpose and the capacity of a leader, it never changes. It's just the vehicle, how you employ leadership changes, but you as a leader, you're a leader all the time. 7 Army values, someone just give you one of them? Doesn't have to be in order, just one. 4. Loyalty. Okay. You want to tell me what that means to you?
Be truthful, not only to yourself, but say to your leaders and to the people around you.
Okay. That's right. Thank you. All right. Somebody give me the second one. Okay. What you got?
Doing their job because more voice.
Okay. Got it. All right. Give me a third.
Respect, see the others around you equally, and care about each other.
Okay. 4th. Somebody got one for me?
Selfless service.
That's a good one. What you got?
Another 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. Who's got the 5th one? Anybody? You got it?
Personal courage.
Okay. What does it mean to you?
Showing bravery when you need to, and times that are rough, you have to work.
Okay. That's good. 6.
Integrity.
All right. What does that mean to you? That's good. Who's got the last one? Somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Hmm? Anybody? First row? Anybody in the first row? There's only one left. Starts with an H.
Honor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. What does that mean to you?
Taking pride in what we do, not just doing it.
I think you're right. All of you are right. And thank you for participating and offering your personal opinion of what that means to you. That shows that you own it. That's important. So over the years, I developed some principles and concepts, things that I started to live by. They embodied the 7 Army values. And one of them is be you, right? That's one of the principles. And I will tell you, don't let a crisis reveal you before you reveal you, because people won't follow you then because you lose credibility. And so if you're ever in a situation with a new team and you've got strengths and weaknesses, don't be too confident, overly confident or arrogant where you can, hey, I got it all together. Maybe you don't. And that's okay. People respect that. People will honor that. And it's okay to just be like, okay, maybe so-and-so is better at this than I am. Maybe this is a task that she can handle. Maybe this is a task that he can handle. It's okay to be there. I want to tell you about one of the operations that I had when I was in Afghanistan years ago. And I'll just lightly touch on it. But I remember being out in the desert when it was a multi-day operation. And as we're out there, as I walked, I could remember exactly how the dirt felt, how it crunched underneath my boot as I walked. I could remember how the sand and the dirt felt like it was just piercing through my eyes. How it felt like after days, like I couldn't swallow anymore because it was just full of dirt and sand. And how heavy my head felt because my night vision devices were just leaning forward. How hurt my shoulders were feeling because of the gear that we wore for days on end. Fight after fight, movement after movement, doing what our nation called us to do. And I remember several fights later, we were black on water. So we cross-loaded everything that we had because we were just low on everything. And so we shared resources with each other until we were completely out. There was no resupply. They couldn't get in. We couldn't bring a helicopter in because of the weather. There weren't any forces nearby. So we were just on our feet. And we were doing what we had to do out in the middle of nowhere, being who our nation called us to be. I remember the fear that I felt at times, but I couldn't give in to the fear because I was too focused on what was necessary. I was too focused on the purpose. I was too focused on the goal. I was too focused on what was more important. So everything else was more important than the fear that I felt as I took another step, not knowing what was coming next, not knowing if there was an IED, not knowing if someone's getting ready to shoot at me, not knowing if that was going to be my time. The fear sat at the bottom as everything else sat at the top. And as I'm only sharing bits and pieces of that story, the reason why is because cross-loading water, ammunition, a selfless service. Not giving in to the fear, but understanding that I had to have courage in that moment, personal courage. Fear wasn't as important. Knowing what was important for the mission and being committed to my teammates that was loyal. We weren't leaving each other behind. We were doing what was necessary because we all had a responsibility. And so we exercised discipline in those moments. We exercised those things because it was necessary. But the 7 Army values are the how-to. And as you think about different moments in your life, I'm sure that you can relate with those 7 Army values. I would tell you that as a leader, you have to create a positive environment as much as you can, uplifting and encouragement. Because the obstacles and the challenges in life are going to be enough to bear anybody down. So don't be the one who just makes it worse. I will tell you that as a leader, you have to communicate clear goals, and you can't move the goalposts. Have some respect for someone who already committed to that same goal that you said was the goal. So just because the situation changes doesn't mean that you change the goalpost. Just because the situation changes, it doesn't mean that the goalpost or the goal has to move as well. No. You improvise. You help develop your team to reach the goal. And then once you exceed that goal and you reach that goal, you move on to the next one. You create another one. But there are also things that I learned over time, like when it came to issues or roadblocks or challenges, you had to put things in place that help you move past them, right? So for this next portion, I'm going to ask you to participate again. In this portion, you can just write on any one of those papers, but I want you to draw a triangle, just a triangle, on one of the sheets of paper. Don't take up the whole sheet of paper, but just draw a triangle on one of the sheets of paper. And we're going to write some things in and around that triangle. And so as a leader, we want to put ourselves in a position to where we are preventing issues, right? And so there are three things that go inside that triangle. At the very top, prevent issues. In the middle, solve issues. At the very bottom, issues, because they're just issues at that point. We ain't doing nothing about it. We're just drowning in them. So at the bottom, issues at the bottom. In the center, solve issues. And at the top, we want to put mechanisms and systems in place to prevent issues. Things that help with that. Formal education, so University of Hawaii. And then informal education, mentors. So relying on some advice that you got from a friend that may have something that you can use, some knowledge or wisdom that you can use that you could turn into something. But on the side of that triangle, those are two things that help you get to a point where you can put mechanisms in place is education. So we want to put formal education and informal education on the side of that triangle going up. Because that's where we're going. We're trying to get to that place where we're consistently putting things in place to prevent and prevent issues, right? All right. And then there are things that keep us at the bottom. At the bottom, I want you to put complacency. Also at the bottom, I want you to put emotional awareness or emotional intelligence. We have to have it. So we didn't talk earlier about emotional intelligence, but I would say that with emotional intelligence, it's important to grasp onto those four pillars: self-awareness, self-management, relationship management, and social awareness. The reason is because that helps you see things from an objective standpoint without your emotions clouding your judgment, right? Or clouding your decision space. Emotions are good. They can be healthy. But you have to understand when someone says something, how does that land on me? Self-awareness. How do I respond to it? Self-management, right? Relationship management. How do I manage that relationship? Social awareness. What's going on socially? And how is the very next thing I'm going to say impacting the environment, right? Things like that. So at the top, objectivity. And then also at the top, situational awareness. Because now you have a couple of guiding principles. If I could be a little more situationally aware, then I'm likely not going to be complacent. I want to tell you a story. I worked at Food Lion a really long time ago now as a 15-year-old and or a 16-year-old, excuse me. And working at Food Lion, I bagged groceries, stocked shelves, cleaned the bathrooms, went out there and put the carts back, in the parking lot, back to the store. There's one particular day I was moving one of the shopping carts or attempting to, but it was stuck. And so I began pulling at that shopping cart and it was still stuck. It was like, oh my goodness, this isn't moving. And I'm like, I'm not, like a scrawny, kid at this point in time. I'm bigger than a shopping cart. This thing should move because I'm pulling at it. It's not moving. And so I was getting frustrated. I was getting angry and I kept pulling at it more and more and more. Until finally I just stopped. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And I just looked at the shopping cart. and there was a seatbelt buckle that was connected to the one in front of it. As soon as I moved it out the way, the cart came right out. And so that's the power in being objective is moving aside from how you feel about something and saying, okay, well, what is actually going on in this situation? So you can make a good decision. You can conserve resources and energy in order to get there. And then I know we're running a little bit short on time. So this is what I want to do. Can you open this, sir? Then everyone gets 3 note cards. So everyone gets 3 note cards. If you grab 4 or 5 or 6, I've got plenty. It'll be fine. But you need at least 3 note cards. They'll come around the room. And I'm going to just ask you to participate in this final exercise with me as we kind of wrap up human leadership and the warrior ethos and the 7 Army values. Because we're into that development moment right now where we're focusing on, okay, how are we improving ourselves, right? How are we focused on our things? Because if we're able to do that, then maybe we can share a little bit of empathy. Maybe we can share a little bit of sympathy as well. There was a saying by Roosevelt: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? So I carry that with me as well. But yeah, we're just going to take a couple of note cards and pass them around the room, and everyone take 3. Choose your color. Looks like everyone's like, okay, there we go, multicolor. I was waiting. So everyone just get 1 color. That's fine too. They're yours. They'll be yours. All right. Yeah, we're getting there. All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you to take 1 note card, and I'm going to ask you to put a goal on there. A goal or a dream that you have. It doesn't have to be 1, it can be multiple if you want, but I want to give you about 30 seconds. Go ahead and just write down a goal or a dream that you have on 1 of those note cards. Just want you to write it on there. All right, everyone's got something? All right, it's yours. It's not for me to look at. It's not for anyone else to look at unless you want to share that with someone else. It's yours. Everyone has something written down? Okay. All right. Now, I just want you to take that note card. I want you to put it in your folder. You know what it is. You got it. I want you to put it in your folder. You got it? Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to do on the second note card, I want you to write a roadblock that's going to keep you from accomplishing that goal or dream, or a challenge that's going to keep you from doing that. What is that roadblock? Just think about it for a moment. What's that thing that's going to keep you from it? All right. Everyone has something? Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to ask everyone Stand up. Take your note cards. I want you to sit them right here. And then go sit back down. Just the one, that's the roadblock. Not the goal or dream. I want you to take the roadblock, and I want you to put the roadblock right here. You can turn it face down, upwards, however you want to do it. Because now we're doing something about it physically. That's the roadblock. That's the thing that's keeping us from our goal or keeping us from our dream. That's the roadblock. Then have a seat. So it's out there. We know it's out there. And I hope you felt that as you put it down. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do, because you got a third note card, right? Everyone still has at least another one? One more? So I'm not going to ask you to give this next one up here. I'm not going to ask you to get up again, but I am going to ask you to write down, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do in order to prevent that from being a roadblock or an issue or a challenge? What is that commitment to yourself that you're going to make? I want you to write that down. This is your mirror. Nobody else is going to see this. This is yours. This is what you're going to do about it. It's your commitment to yourself. You know what the roadblock can be. You know what the dream is. You know what the goal is. And so your homework is to keep that goal in front of you, that dream in front of you, no matter what. And you're going to take that action plan that you just wrote down, what you're going to do about it, you're going to put that in your pocket. You're going to take that with you. When you're having a low day and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do about today because today was a hard day. Maybe you didn't test well. Maybe I didn't test well. Maybe I'm not doing well in class. Maybe I'm not doing well in my sport. Maybe I'm having relationship issues. Maybe I'm having maybe something is happening in life. I want you to take that thing that you said you're going to do something about it, and I want you to put it in front of you. Put it on your mirror. Put it on your dashboard. Put it on your refrigerator. Put it in your book. Put it in your music cases. Put it in your laptops. Whatever you have to do, you take that with you. And you make a commitment to yourself that I'm going to put my teeth in this thing. And whatever I have to do in order to overcome any roadblock that's going to stand between me and my dream, me and my goal, I'm going to do something about it because you got a responsibility to as a leader. And as you hold yourself accountable to it, you can hold others accountable. But first, you got to hold you accountable because accountability is a two-way street. You can't just look at someone else and say, you know what, I'm going to hold you accountable and not hold myself accountable. If you're sleeping in, if you're taking days off, and you're making D's or C's, or you're not doing well, you got some work to do. If I'm not making the kind of things or efforts or goals that I want in life, and I am sitting in my room and I'm watching Netflix or Hulu and I'm just binge watching everything, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I paying that debt and responsibility? I'm not. Am I going to make anyone else better? I'm not. Am I going to make anyone else better? No. Am I going to make me better? No. And so make it real. Take the action plan. And you keep that here. You put it wherever you have to put it. You write it down on your phones. You type it out on your computer. You put it on the wall in the classroom. You say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I want you to hold on to this for me. And if I'm having a bad day and I'm falling asleep in class, I want you to remind me, what am I supposed to do in order to get to the dream or to the goal that I said is important to me? Because you're going to take that with you. The last thing that I want to leave you with is that you are bigger than any challenge that sits in front of you. You are a giant. And with the right tools as a leader, Your team could be unstoppable. Together, you could be unstoppable. Your family, your unit, your organization could become unstoppable. But it starts with you. So I'm going to pause there because I think that's my time. And I appreciate you all letting me spend some time with you. If you got questions, I'll stay around for a few minutes. Then if you want to connect on social media, that's an option as well. I got a QR code that you can scan and we can chat on social media. But, hey, I appreciate you guys giving me your time today. Thank you. Yeah.
Why did you join?
Whew. The basis, life wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go. I was doing well as an athlete in high school at one point. And then I hit this period of time where I just went some real troubled times. I was sleeping on the streets, homeless for a little bit. Eventually, I made my way back to a good home situation with my mom and my dad and repaired that my senior year. But at that point, like nobody's looking at me, for sports or anything like that. So I wanted to continue that endeavor. And so I was like, hey, maybe I can do all Army sports, and just, build back up and eventually do something back in the sports world. So that's the baseline of why I joined. But obviously, some things change, some things happen along the way. And, the goal just kind of developed. But the baseline of that goal was I wanted to do more. Like that was the baseline. I wasn't okay with the life I had, and I just wanted to do more and more. Anybody else? Yeah. Oh. What you got?
What are your degrees in?
So I have a master's in science management, organizational leadership, and bachelor's in organizational leadership as well.
How do you think that you use like the fundamentals of leadership and for ethos, like how does that translate into your life as a father now?
As a father? Oh my goodness. So my wife and I, we have a wonderful family. We have 8 children. We have a blended family. And every day is a teaching and a learning experience, for us all. But I would say that each day, I really relearn humility because children, like they're smart. Oh my God. They learn every day, right? They're growing. And so they challenge you with things that you just, you weren't aware about, you didn't know about, you didn't read about yet. You didn't get the latest news on something. And so just challenging myself, not to be overly confident or arrogant, but just like, I don't know it all, right? But just kind of getting back to that, okay, something I don't know. I can use that, and then creating that feedback system. Maybe I wasn't the best version of myself that I wanted to be as a father today. And so creating that avenue to where my kids can be like, hey, Dad, this is how I felt. I didn't like that. And I can really take that and I can improve. That's one reason why the camera's on. The camera's not on you. I'm recording right now. It's not recording you. It's recording me because I want to continue to improve. I want to continue to get better. I want to add value to anybody that I come in front of. But as a father, yeah, it's constant improvement every day and a constant reminder that there's room to improve. Thank you for that question. All right, what you got?
What type of things do you fall back on?
Hardships are never going to stop, right? The one thing I didn't talk to you all about is I didn't talk to you about an anchor. Kind of ran out of time. But my anchors, I hinted on them a little bit when I talked about the debt and responsibility that I have to my ancestors, to my family, to those who sacrificed their lives and didn't get the opportunity to live their dreams. Like those are all anchors to me. And so things to fall back on becomes limitless. It could be as limitless as you want it to be. But it has to be something that's important to you. It has to be something that has meaning to you and value to you. And it doesn't have to look like something that everyone else has. Because I also know like, hey, like when my mother opened those doors back for me to come into that house, let me tell y'all something. I was sleeping in a ditch one night in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I didn't wasn't from Ypsilanti, Michigan. I was from North Carolina, but in the middle of wintertime, it was freezing out there. I didn't have additional clothes at the time. And so a lot of events transpired off of that, but just the opportunity, when my mother opened those doors again, it was like, hey, come on in here. God, you're talking about a debt? When my mother pulled me out of that pool when I was drowning, you want to talk about a debt? When my sisters prevented a huge boulder from smashing my head, you want to talk about a debt? Like the layers just go on. So what to fall back on is I got to improve. I got to do better. I still have breath in my body. God has still blessed me to be here today, so I got to do something about it. But I can't just get comfortable, and lazy. I can't do it. I want to. I will tell you something that I'm doing right now. I work out every day of the week. I get up every morning between 2 and 3 a.m. and I go throughout the entire day. But the first thing I do is I spend my time doing my own, like reading, my own devotions, spend my time with God, do my little prayers and all that. And then I roll into my workout for the day. First one, boom, knock that out around 3 o'clock. And I come back. And guess what? I got organizational PT because I'm still in the Army, right? So we work out as a unit, as a team. I go in, I do that. Boom. I come back, get showered up. I go into work. Boom. I'm at work all day long. After I leave here, I'm going right back. I'm not going home to kick it. I'm going right back. And I have a BLC graduation that I need to go to. One of my soldiers is graduating on the Commandant's list. So that top 10% we were talking about, like, boom. Now you're giving back because now the people that you're leading are doing the things that you want them to do because you're teaching them things and they're working. They're utilizing it. So layers go as deep as you need them to go. I'll try not to talk too much about it. Hey, you're real passionate about the layers.